Alright guys, it's the day before the University of Georgia Bulldogs spring game, G-Day, 1 o'clock. What are Georgia fans looking to see at G-Day? Now, there's all kind of different answers or questions you can have to this, but me personally, there are two things I'm waiting to see, and they're not even on, they're not on the defensive side, because Georgia's defense was, you know, it wasn't that horrible last year. It kept Georgia in most games. It even kept them in the Sugar Bowl when we lost to Notre Dame. The only reason we couldn't beat Notre Dame was because we couldn't score on offense. And you know, I think about the Alabama game. You know, the Alabama game was kind of just unusual, very unusual, because half of Alabama's points they scored in the first half wasn't Georgia's defense fault. It wasn't Georgia's defense fault. You know, Carson Beck with the interception. Defense at one point was just going to be gashed. So, and the only game that we really got beat on defense was Ole Miss. But, so I'm fine with the defense. There's nothing I want to see on the defense that's going to make my eyes pop out or anything like that. What I want to see is the offense. And more specifically, I want to see how Georgia's offensive line is going to do. Because let's be honest, Georgia's offensive line was pretty bad last year. It was horrible. Georgia's offensive line sucked. It really did, especially at the end of the year. We couldn't see what Gunnar Stockton. I was about to say Brock Vandagriff. I apologize. We couldn't see what Gunnar Stockton was going to be able to do, because he got hit. He was on his butt literally the entire game. And you know, I mean, I don't mean this in a horrible way, but you know, that was the case. Gunnar Stockton was on his back the entire second half of that game because we had no offensive line. So I want to see how he does, and I also want to see how Ryan Pulaski does, because there's no doubt he'll be the red team's the first team, right? So I mean, the black team will be the second team. So I want to see. It would be really cool to see the black team win, but you know, I love these spring games, but I always tell people, I said, if the black team wins at 45-48, you know, Georgia's got problems with the first team. But if the red team goes out there and wins 35-0, then they have problems on the black side. So, you know, it doesn't really, you know, the spring game is just, it's practice. It's pretty much what it is. That's why there's a lot of people who are going to overreact from what they see tomorrow, and my thing I could tell you is, you know, just don't overreact. It's April. The season doesn't start to August, or September, I actually believe, this year. But anyway, my point is, I'm very excited to see Georgia's offense in the spring game this year. I really want to see what Georgia does. You know, I want to see Pulaski. I'm all right with Stockton because he played last year. Yes, it was only 2 games. It was the end of the Texas game, and he didn't even play the end of the Texas game. But it was the second half of the Texas games in the Sugar Bowl, which once again we couldn't really get to see how he played because he was on his butt. But I'm really excited to see how Polinsky plays, and I want to see our offensive line, because if Georgia could just improve an offensive line, then I think they'll be fine. But this is the moment to do that, to show improvement in the offensive line and show improvement in your backup quarterback, and you know, all of that. Now remember, you won't be able to watch the game. It's not on TV. You listen to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network with Scott Eric, Hondo and the gang, or Scott Eric, DJ Hondo and the gang, 1 o'clock, so 12:30 airtime on the radio. And yeah, so Georgia, it's the spring game, red versus black. Have a pregame video tomorrow for you as well, but this is what I want to see in Georgia's spring game. I want to see offensive line and backup quarterback. So, go Dogs.